Alright, I got these two pistols out here because we're going to go over the differences between the World War I and the World War II 1911. Now this one right here is an exact reproduction made by Colt of the World War I 1911. It's exactly the same as it was back in World War I. And this one right here is a Colt 1911 Series 70 government model, and it's a 1911A1. So that's the reason I have it representing the World War II. It's not an exact copy of the World War II 1911, but it is a 1911A1, so it's very, very close. Now, if you look on the World War I, if you look at the trigger, it's extended and it's smooth. Okay? If you look on the World War II, the trigger is a lot shorter and it has serrations on it. Okay? On the World War I, on the frame by the trigger, there's a hard cut all the way down. Same on this side, just a hard cut. And then if you look on the A1, on the World War II, there's a cutout right here. Okay? Same on this side. On the World War I, the mainspring housing is flat and it's smooth. And on the World War II, 1911A1, the mainspring housing is arched and it has serrations on it. And also on the A1 1911, if you look at the beaver tail, it sticks out quite a bit more than the beaver tail on the World War I 1911. If you can see that side by side, this one's a lot shorter. Okay. The ejection ports are exactly the same height. Alright. And normally on the World War II 1911A1, the sights would be a little bit shorter. On the Series 70, the sights are a little bit higher than the World War I, but if this was an exact reproduction of the World War II 1911, the sights would be the same height. Okay. The World War I has walnut grips, and the World War II would have had brown plastic grips. Okay. The magazines are identical. They both take 7-round magazines, and they both have the same type of follower on it. And both pistols do not have beveling on the magazine well. Okay, there's absolutely no beveling. And the World War II 1911 would have had a lanyard loop like the World War I does. There's a lanyard loop. But like I said, this is a Series 70. It's not exactly the same as the World War II 1911, but it's very close. It's a 1911A1, but not everything is exactly the same way. Okay. We'll open them both up here. The World War I has a really nice hammer on it. It's nice and wide, and it's easy to grab with your thumb. Okay, there they are with the slides back. They both have blue barrels, but on the Series 70, the barrel hood is polished. Okay, and they both feel very good in the hand. For me, I like the flat mainspring housing with the long trigger. I feel like I have more control of it, and I can shoot a little bit more accurately with it. On the 1911A1, it feels really good in the hand, and I can shoot accurately with it, but it doesn't feel quite as good as the World War I does. It's not bad, but I like the long trigger and the flat mainspring housing. Both of them have really good triggers on it. Very crisp triggers. Both of them have the exact same bushing and recoil plunger. Okay. And they're pretty much identical, you know. There's really not that many differences other than the ones that I pointed out, but both of the pistols are very, very similar. They're both old school. Yeah. Both pistols are very traditional. They're awesome pistols though. They're both Colts, and I'm really happy about that. I have a Colt WW1 and a Colt WW2, so that's really awesome. And they're pretty expensive, but they are worth it. You got to think of it like investments, you know what I mean? Colt 1911s are some of the best reselling 1911s out there. So, really awesome pistols. I'm really happy that I have them. I don't know if I said this, but the serrations are identical. Alright, they both have slotted screws, like for a flat blade screwdriver. Trying to think if there's anything else. That's pretty much it. The slide release, the magazine release, and the thumb safety are pretty much the same. The thumb safety on the Series 70 is shaped a little bit more differently. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much all the differences. There they are. You got the World War I M1911 and the World War II 1911A1. Colt does make, or I mean they used to make, a reproduction of the exact World War II 1911. It was a limited reproduction, but they're really hard to find, so I just got the Series 70 to represent the World War II, and it represents it good enough, you know what I mean? But it is cool to have an exact reproduction of the World War I. It's really awesome. So there they are. There's my two 1911s, World War I and World War II. Awesome pistols.